Welcome back, everybody. Sheepdog Smokey here, and we've got some really good news that came out just today, and that is that the Department of Justice has completely dropped their case against General Flynn. If you are one of his followers, or if you follow me, I'll retweet stuff, and many of us do. The case against General Flynn has been so far below flimsy since the beginning that it honestly should never have been anything that was a case. We know that former DNI Clapper admitted there was no evidence that he could find for collusion. Yet we had a 3-year investigation by the Office of Special Counsel, and now we find records that the FBI entrapped General Flynn. The man has basically lost everything funding his legal defense. And now that we find this evidence of FBI chicanery, entrapping a career military man to make it look as if he perjured himself, one of the quotes I heard is, they knew the answers to the questions, and they asked questions that purposefully led to, aha, you lied. And by doing so, that is entrapment. But of course, even with this, the left goes insane. Cobblepot himself, Jerry Nadler, has called for an investigation into why the case was dropped. We have records proving that Strzok and Page were talking about a plan that they would not allow Trump to be president. We have records from the FBI that they entrapped General Flynn. I'm going to say the same thing I really wish Kavanaugh had done. General Flynn needs to sue the ever-loving daylights out of the people who prosecuted him, out of the media who kept it going, and everyone else involved. During the Kavanaugh hearings, I really wish I could have gotten the message to Brett Kavanaugh to say, here's the deal. Stand up in the middle of the hearing, and when the room quiets down, say, I withdraw my name. I am going to meet with my attorney to press defamation and slander charges against everyone involved in this farce and walk out. The second he mentioned he was going to start suing people, Kamala Harris herself would have stood up and yelled that he was not allowed to withdraw his name, and she calls for a vote. Keep walking. When she storms out and say, you've been confirmed, you can't sue, look her in the face and say, no, ma'am, I, Senator, withdrew my name. I am therefore no longer a nominee. You may not confirm me. You may not force me to do anything. You will be hearing from my attorney. It's the only thing these cowards understand, is being smacked in the face with the repercussions of their words and actions. Members of the Democratic Party, members of the media, have slandered General Flynn for so long that there's no way they could ever beat a defamation or slander case. I would love to see him reduce Acosta, Cuomo, Scarborough, Brzezinski, and the rest to paupers, leaving them crying on air about how they were punished for just reporting the news. Of course, I wanted Acosta to be arrested for physically assaulting the young White House intern when she was doing her job. This live and let live mentality of it's over, let's just move on, doesn't work with liberals because they see it as they gave up, I won. You have to smack them down as hard as you can with every legal means at your disposal. Bankrupt them, make them sell everything they have, make them lose everything dear to them, their job, their name, their reputation. When a few of them have been reduced like that, maybe the rest will just finally learn the lesson to shut up. Imagine if someone had done this to a member of the Obama administration. How fast would Obama have been on every news network ordering the world to stop the investigation and allow that person to go back to work. Donald Trump has stayed out of it. He has not issued a pardon. He has not called for the case to be dropped. He has spoken his mind as a private citizen, not as the president. And now Attorney General Barr, man in charge of the DOJ, has stated, due to the evidence of entrapment, the case is dropped, which is the right thing to do. But the problem is we live in a world where justice is no longer what it actually should be. One only need look at Dallas, Texas, where a county judge, Judge Moyer, sentenced a woman to 7 days in jail and a $7,000 fine, not for reopening her business, but for refusing to apologize for what he called selfish behavior, but what is really her working her job to feed her family. The worst part of it is the person who reported her and got her arrested was open on his own business next door to her. See, Shelley Luther runs a hair and nail salon. This other idiot runs a pet grooming salon. He was declared essential, but not her. Why is it essential to get your dog's haircut, but not to have your own haircut? She also didn't open until after Governor Abbott had announced that the Phase 1 reopening would commence. She was not violating any of the social distancing guidelines or anything of the sort. She was complained about by a selfish moron and an activist judge who people are trying to portray as the paragon of legal virtue, told her to apologize for trying to feed her family or face a $7,000 fine and 7 days in jail. Dallas is also one of the cities that released countless inmates to remove the possibility they would contract COVID-19. Governor Abbott has ordered her released. Attorney General Paxton paid the fine out of his own money. Judge Moyer needs to be removed from the bench, just as the judge who was overseeing the Flynn case needs to be removed from the bench. The prosecutors who went after her, just like those who went after Flynn, need to be removed from office. This is not justice. We had 3 years of an investigation that amounted to there was no collusion, there was no evidence of obstruction. Now we have proof the FBI entrapped Flynn, and the Democrats demand an investigation. And then we have a young woman in Dallas, Texas, who opens her business so she can feed her family, and she's told, you will apologize for your selfishness or you'll go to jail. These are very much modern-day Daniels. They're thrown to the lions, and they won't apologize for their actions. General Flynn was trying to get his guilty plea changed to not guilty, and the judge wouldn't allow that. It took evidence of entrapment to get the charges dropped. This other idiot in Dallas is likely not the virtuous person he is. What's going to happen if we find out he was violating stay-at-home guidelines or social distancing and someone complains about him? He'll cry and moan and whine on any platform he can about how he's being targeted. But he gets a young woman who's trying to feed her family put in jail because he decided he is the arbiter of who may and may not do anything. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about I wanted Kavanaugh to withdraw his name and sue, when I want Flynn to sue. I want this young woman in Dallas to sue. Turn the other cheek is a good mantra to live by. I have been, as I told in a previous video, I was physically attacked when I was a sophomore in high school by an older student who decided he had the right to sucker punch me. As he was not still standing there wanting to fight, I did not pursue a physical altercation. The next time he tried it, I simply moved. I don't like to fight. I will if pressed, but I will look for every avenue out of a fight before I take that last step. It's different when you're dealing with something like this, though. You see, these morons who get people arrested for opening their business, or who entrap a career military man, or who use lies and false, baseless charges to try and just ruin a career litigator and adjudicator nominated for Supreme Court. Those people don't learn that it's bad because people just avoid them. They see it as winning. And when they see this as winning, they continue and go further and further and further. All of them need to face the consequences of their words and actions. And I honestly hope, I know Kavanaugh won't because now he is a Supreme Court justice, so he can't really press anything against the morons in the Senate or those who accused him. But Shelley Luther is still just a private business owner. General Flynn at this point is a private citizen. I really want both of them to explore the avenues that Sandman did after the idiot got in his face at a rally and the news went after the kid. Maybe if we bankrupt a few judges or congresspeople or media idiots, leave them in poverty working a regular job like we peasants do, maybe the rest will learn their lesson and stop spreading lies and hate and anything else they can for ratings or votes. I don't know. You can tell I'm getting a little upset about this. I've watched for many years as those on the left are more and more emboldened every day by the lack of consequences for their shenanigans. It's time to start making them pay the piper. I will never call for violence in any form. I will tell you, you have every right to defend yourself, but you should never attack. But when something like this happens, Luther or Flynn, they're not bound by that because they have been attacked. They need to respond and hit very hard in court. Maybe ruining a few people financially on the left would work. Maybe. Anyway, let me know what you think. As always, be civil. This is a very contentious issue, I know, but we can debate civilly as adults. If the idiot who reported Shelley Luther, if any of the idiots who entrapped Flynn show up, let's just say I learned in high school from several drill sergeants. I know how to string together a few choice words without going into the vulgar to get my point across very clearly. Beside that, we can dissent, discuss, and debate like adults. Anyway, make sure that you also share and like the video to widen the conversation. And also, please do subscribe so you're part of the giveaway at 500, 1,000, and 1,500 subscribers. As you will see tomorrow, I am going to be changing up my schedule a bit. I have all of the books I've ordered or went looking for. So I'm going to start using the weekends differently. Tomorrow's video will explain a little more in detail. Until next time, everybody have a wonderful day.